Yeah, there's so much more to a CRM system than the contact info.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting at here is you're building a story that doesn't end. Like all of these contacts are fluid with whatever conversation you have, with whatever you learn. We take a lot of mental notes, however it is you do it right now. You take post-its, you put them places, you say something to yourself, you send yourself an email, you send them an email one time, have it in one spot, and everything is good info.
Building a successful real estate career requires you to adapt, pivot, and constantly master new skills.
We're Katie and Daniel Steinfeld. We've built our own innovative brokerage, and in this podcast, we've assembled actionable tips and strategies that you can implement to take your business to its maximum potential.
It's time to level up. Level up.
Welcome to another episode of Level Up. I'm Katie. I'm here with Angry Daniel here today, who is having some technical difficulties, but we're good now.
We're always good, but I'm on a mad delay right now. So to all of you listening, oh man, we're in opposite rooms, like next to each other, and I can hear my voice echoing in the room on the other side of this wall, and it's like 5 seconds behind. It's fantastic. So yes,
I'll turn you down.
I'm wearing the role of smiling but pissed off guy today.
It's always good starting a podcast. So in order to reduce your stress and your pissed offness, we will get right into it. So today,
let's do it.
Yeah. Today we're talking about using your CRM effectively. I think it's a very important topic to chat about. As agents, we talk about the importance of a CRM, but not necessarily how to use it and some tips and tricks to make the most of it.
That is correct. It is kind of at the heart of everything we talk about when it comes to strategy, whether it be your marketing, your lead gen, your contact management. Really at the core of all of it is how are you getting, retaining, building business? And that begins and ends with the people who are in your database and how you are able to manage them, which is what the C and the R and the M stand for. It's your customer relationship management. So let's talk about how to manage them.
Yes. So I've got a list of the top 10 things that you can do to make your CRM use better, some tips. So we'll jump right into it.
Are these in order, or these are just
no order whatsoever at all? I will preface though by saying that these tips are more for solo agents, not necessarily teams who probably use a CRM in some different ways. But if you're starting out or you've been using a CRM for a few years, I think these could be some good tips.
Okay. I just noticed you've got On the Block booze in the picture behind you.
I do. Do you want to drink it?
I actually I've got a beer with me right now. Sitting
here. Are you drinking a beer?
No, it's just here.
Okay.
It's just here.
Because it is 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
we keep things as props, as props.
Yeah.
Got a calming effect. It's like one of those not infusion. What are those like burning incense things? What do they call those? Are they infusion?
No.
Not infusion.
Diffuser.
Thank
you.
It's like my diffuser that smells like beer.
Sweet.
Anyway, let's without further ado, let's get to the top 10. We should have like the Letterman music going and like Paul Schaefer playing you in. Number 10. Or is it number 1 first?
Well, let's go. Sure, let's go 10 to 1 because that'll make things fun.
I'm having a ball.
Okay, so number 10, adding everybody in to your CRM from your social media accounts that you speak with and that you have a connection with, I think is really, really important. And the main reason for that is because you could lose your social media accounts at any point. We hear people all the time, their Instagram gets hacked, it goes down. If you lose your followers, you're not going to have a lot of ways to easily reach them at that point.
Yeah, I've got 2 points with this, and stop me because I don't know what your other 9 points are, so I might be like infringing on like number four.
That's okay.
But
I can adapt.
when we talk about social media, a couple things. Some people will say, well, I don't know anything beyond what their handle is or things like that, even if I've started. So look at this as also another opportunity to generate conversation and to build their contact info as well.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse to say all I know is that they're, sexy guy 123, and I don't know how to put that into my CRM. But that being said, the name and whatever you have should still form the beginning of a contact in your CRM system, right? I think a lot of, whether it's your own rudimentary Excel sheet or whether it's everything will have a mechanism to have even just the social media handle there as part of their profile. So if that's all you have to start with, it doesn't mean leave them out, but it also does create an opportunity for you to build that profile, start conversation as well to make it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's not only like the risk of losing these people if your social media goes down, it's also just the organization part of keeping everybody in one spot. It's very difficult when you're trying to manage different types of contacts in different types of places. So your CRM should be considered your home base for any contact that you have.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Number 9.
Number 9, integrations is a big one that I think a lot of agents lose sight of. Most CRMs have the ability to integrate with other things that may be useful for you. So, I mean, I'm not saying go out, get, all the integrations because they're available, but take a look and see if there's anything there that can make your life easier in terms of bringing people in, whether it's an integration with your calendar, your social media, if you're doing a lot of social ads, Google ads, creating forms and getting people to fill those out, any way that you can get people into your database more automatically, or any sort of automatic like those integrations provide, then I'd say that's a really important one too.
And integrations go both ways, right? I think primarily they're an in, but there's a lot of stuff that certain services can do on the out as well, in terms of managing what your contacts look like, in terms of finances, potentially all kinds of stuff. If you are using any CRM system, there's going to be a page there that details their preferred integration partners. But most of the time in today's technology world, they've got what's called an API, which is not what this is about, but basically there's the language within any major CRM system that's built to tie to whatever it is you might already be working with. And it's a lot easier to make them talk to each other than to just use things in isolation, because that's adding steps and headache. I'm just going to raise you up while we're talking here.
Your fancy new standing desk.
If it works. Oh, am I at the top already? This is as high as it goes. It's terrible. I feel like I'm looking down.
You are kind of looking down. Yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm looking at the image here, and it's like, I mean, I can do that, but now I'm like squatted. This is actually really good for my quads, so I'm just going to do this.
Sweet.
If only you could see what's going on below my shoulders right now. Okay.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if anybody wants to.
Yeah, that's kind of, there's the quote of the episode.
All right, number 8, data, and more data. So the more data that you can add into mostly populating the details of each person is really important. So examples like your clients or the people that are in your database's kids' names or pets' names, or anything that's important to just remember about them that you could enhance maybe the experience or send a more customized gift down the line is always good. And it's so much easier when it's, again, all in one place, because you can reference it so much easier. I find for myself, I typically give gifts to the kids over the holidays when my clients have kids, and putting their kids' names on the card, I think, is a nice personalization, and not having that in a CRM would be very difficult. I'd have to kind of try to find them on social media and go through all the pictures and see if their kid is mentioned there. Like it just adds so much more time. So again, having it all in one place is so much more efficient.
Yeah, there's so much more to a CRM system than the contact info.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting at here is you're building a story that doesn't end. Like all of these contacts are fluid with whatever conversation you have, with whatever you learn. We take a lot of mental notes, however it is you do it right now. You take Post-its, you put them places, you say something to yourself, you send yourself an email, you send them an email one time, have it in one spot, and everything is good info because your CRM is there just for you to reference. It doesn't mean you're going to be drawing on everything all the time, but it does mean 6 months from now when you're trying to remember, do they have a pet? Do they not have a pet? Like you said, what's their kid's name? How old are they? What are the birthdays? Whatever it is, all of this stuff is just so useful in its own time.
Mm-hmm.
So use the system to consolidate all of it and organize it so that when you need it, it's there.
Yeah. 100p.
Number seven,
creating recurring events or tasks for yourself is a big one. I mean, you really have to take a look at each contact in your database. What type of contact are they? And associated with that, what kind of reach out or touches are you going to have throughout the year for each person? So, for example, with my past clients, I make sure to do quarterly reach outs to each and every one of them on a personal basis, just to provide them an update on the sales in their area. So most CRMs have the function to create recurring tasks. And this might be a very simple thing that people do, but if you don't do it, it just makes your life easier where you're reminded every however often you've set for yourself to reach out to those individuals. So it's more automated.
I feel you. I don't have much to add there.
Okay.
I know I've got like the snappy comments after each one, but that was pretty concise. That was pretty bang on. Number seven, ding, ding, ding. On to six.
Making use of reports is also a really helpful thing. There's a lot of reports that CRMs offer you, whether it's the open rates on your email, like how many contacts you have maybe in like the hot prospect or however you want to term those people list, how many people you're getting from different lead sources, like what's your repeat and referral business looking like. All of those things are really useful and kind of gives you a deeper dive look into how your business is performing and maybe presents you with opportunities to improve upon where you really want to focus that time and effort.
I guarantee when you look at the data, you will learn things you didn't know or things you thought you knew are not the case. A lot of that is found through patterns or lack of patterns. Like remember, when there isn't a pattern, that's a pattern. There's a mind screw for you. But when something's not consistent, that's still worthwhile noting. It's not something that you need to dismiss right away. Maybe it just means that your approach has been sporadic, or maybe it means that where you think you've got consistency, you don't. Mm-hmm. And so your ability to look at numbers, we talk about it when it comes to like market stats. This is the same thing. Okay. Like your clients are the heart of your entire business, and you need them before you need to know the market, obviously, but your knowledge of the market is useless without a base of people to communicate with. Mm-hmm. And there's really no limit to what it is you can look at, but there's also no limit to the value you can pull from any type of report that's out there. Yeah. Right. So take the time. If there are pre-done reports that you look at and you say, well, that's not important, look at it anyway. Get insight into things and just identify places where you've got, like you said, opportunity and where there might be challenges as well, because reports and some of the correlations between what you do and what comes out of it are going to be useful in helping to determine how best to move forward and what to keep doing and what to change.
Yeah, I know a lot of people speaking to other agents wanting to elevate their repeat and referral business. And this is a great way to do it because in the CRM, you can identify the lead source. And if you start seeing patterns with particular people, like maybe somebody has referred you to 2 or 3 people over this past year, like those are people that you really want to take care of, really stay in touch with, and just be like we want to really grow that relationship, because those are the people that really want to support you in your business. And so I always say, we tend to focus more on getting new people into our database. And then once people are sitting there in their database, we don't do anything with them. If you switch your mindset to really trying your best to bring more value to those people that are currently in your database, especially if they're supporting your business, you'll find that repeat referral business will really grow.
Amen. Preach.
Hallelujah. Okay, so number 5, kind of obvious again, but a lot of I'm speaking to myself when I say making the use of the trainings and videos and the tutorials that are in your CRM system. There's likely 50, I would assume most people are using 50% or less of the features that are available within their CRM, and they could probably really up the game in their CRM usage if they were to make use of some of these other features. So take some time out of your week to create, like an hour a week just to go through a new tutorial. I think would really benefit most agents.
I'm going to come at this from 2 different angles.
You do that.
One
angle. I'm going to count down. 1.
One is, you don't need all the tools, but it also is an opportunity to identify what's available, but also, like we talk about, and I don't know if one of your other steps is about the actual choosing of a CRM, because I know that's not what this is about, but hopefully, if you've just chosen your CRM, you've listened to our past podcast about how to choose an effective CRM, because there's a lot of noise in a lot of these platforms as well. And the features are great. And you're right. I think it's important to look at a lot of them and to identify things you're not using and learn them. Mm-hmm. But also don't feel the need to make use of everything if it's not relevant and if it's going to just add time to what it is you're doing. The other side is, when you're not using, this is for the people out there like me, let's call us the cheap bastards, or whatever you want to classify yourself as. Maybe it's not your cheap, but maybe you just don't have a CRM, or you've made use of manual process like Excel and things like that. If you are using something like that, definitely this applies to you as well. The number of features and tools to teach yourself in a platform like Excel is insane. You can create yourself something that's robust and automates and does a lot of the things you're probably doing manually by teaching yourself some of the features that fall within a program like that. So it's not limited necessarily to whatever you're paying monthly for and the great stuff they've got, because that definitely you should use. But whatever it is you're doing, learn more and find efficient ways to leverage what you have to make it work better for you. Yeah. As well.
100%. Yeah. Okay. Numero 4. Implementing, you just like rolled your eyes there. Implementing check.
Is numero French also? I'm thinking in Spanish.
Nombre.
Yeah, like numero 4. I feel like you just combined French and Spanish.
Combined Spanish and French.
Or is no.
Listen, I know where our listeners are coming from. We've got Canada, we've got the US. I've got to combine.
So you're just going off English altogether and combining the rest. Man, yes. Wait till we go overseas. These are going to get really entertaining.
Yeah. Isn't Spanish quatre too? So maybe I was just speaking Spanish.
Uno, dos, tres. Cuatro. No, it's cuatro.
Okay, cuatro. Nombre 4. Whatever.
No, now you just did French and Spanish.
I know. I'm like reversing it.
Wow, you're like
I'm catering to everybody here.
Holy geez.
Okay. So checklists and workflows is really important. Like when you enter somebody in your database, sometimes it depends on what type of prospect there are. Let me say that again. It depends on what type of prospect it is. I'm getting confused. But we've done, if you go back into our episodes, we'll link to it in the show notes. I don't recall exactly what episode number it is, but we dive into, the usage of your CRM and identifying different types of prospects. So depending on what type of prospect you're putting into your CRM, maybe it's a seller and you've got, you can have a set of steps to implement with them. And as opposed to trying to remember it and do it manually, a lot of these things can be set up automatically where you have preset emails, maybe preset videos to send out to a particular subset of people in your database. So that's something, to work on over time. It's not something you're going to be able to put into place immediately with every type of prospect, but I'd say that it will definitely help better systematize your business. And if you are looking to grow your business, these are the sort of things that you need to be doing to get more automatic with this sort of thing.
If you don't have automation, you're really missing the boat. Like,
yeah.
The point of the CRM is to have process and workflows that are leveraging this database. It's not just if it was just names, it would just be a database, right?
Yeah.
The management side is, what are you doing with them? I spoke to an agent yesterday who was talking about the fact, like, he works 2 jobs. So he's a part-time agent, but does well and is able to manage his time specifically because of the workflows he's built in his CRM.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he was talking about, is just, there's inbound, there's, people he meets, puts them in there. But once they're in there, he is pretty close to set it and forget it, right? Because he knows once you click the start button and they're bucketed in a certain place, they're getting, like, we've just started this ourselves, at the brokerage level, like a little bit more in more of a robust way where, drip campaigns, things like that, they allow you to just know that the wheels are turning, and you don't have to sit there every day and say, okay, what am I supposed to do for this person and this person and this person, and where are they at? Even though you can check up on it at any time.
Yeah.
And some of these things as well, as far as the automation goes, some of it might just be triggering a reminder to you to do something manually, right? It's not like you've lost sight of these people, but the stuff that is consistent and should be automated, set that up. Because why are you wasting your time doing the same thing for everybody, right?
Exactly.
Save the unique stuff for the unique stuff.
And if you're a new agent, you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's about, as you start working with people, identifying the areas that can be automated. Are you answering the same question over and over again to the same type of prospect? If that's the case, then there's some opportunity to automate in there. And it'll just really, you can just build up if you are starting. You're frozen right now. Can you hear me?
I hear your position as usual.
Okay. Oh, here, you're back.
Okay, there you are.
Hello.
You're back. Although it does say my internet connection is unstable again.
That's always scary.
I feel like it's always unstable. I don't know what my computer does when I'm not around. It's like it's on crack or something. Like, nothing's happened in this room. We're literally in an empty office on a Sunday.
Yeah. Oh,
and
well.
nothing's plugged in. It's very strange.
I love how you're looking around like you're gonna find some
it's like someone's in the parking lot, there's a troop of cars out there using our wireless or something.
Yeah.
We're like a Tim Hortons.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, that's fine. It's becoming the unfortunate norm that I stare at your face being choppy and frozen. But anyway, okay, that was what was it? Oh, we were still on Quattro.
Quattro, I think. Yeah. Number three.
Tre. What's tre?
Uno, dos, tres. Tres?
There's an S. Yeah, tres. It's not tre.
Well, I'm thinking French, because French would probably.
Oh, you're thinking Quebec French. We're ugh, Quebec French. Sorry to the Quebec listeners, but honestly, guys, it's a dirty, dirty French. The Quebec French.
Wow.
Do we just lose I mean,
I like Quebec, so there you go.
My family was born in Quebec. I'm just saying, it's not France French. That's all I'm saying. It's got some drawl.
Well, I wouldn't say drawl, but yeah,
it's French drawl. Anyway, okay.
Okay, moving on.
How about number 3?
Number 3. Living in your CRM. I mean, this is something that I think a lot of people hear people preach to you about, but it's about, your work day needs to include you being in there quite a bit. I think a lot of us are in our MLS systems a lot, searching, looking things up, all that. you should be using it as much as that. That's your home base. You know, your email is not where to go. It's not your text messages. It's going into your CRM. Establish a set schedule for yourself where maybe it's every morning and, you know, in the evening, you know, once or twice a day. And also adding people in, like if you don't want to do it as they come in on a more manual basis, like maybe put some time out in your week to just, sorry, I'm like, you just froze a little bit. So I'm like, just very cautious of talking and making sure you hear what I say.
I think I'm just not moving. I'm just listening so intently. I look
Anyway,
frozen.
just put some time aside for that task as well. If you need to add people in and you don't want to do it on the spot, maybe you just want to do it all at once and you've got like 5 or 10 people per week to add in, then do it all at once. Might be a better way to set things up for yourself.
Yeah. This ties into a lot of the other steps, and most of this should tie in, you know, integration being a big one. The more you're integrated with your other systems, the more it makes it a no-brainer that you're living in your CRM, because everything's feeding there anyway. So you don't need to bounce around from thing to thing to thing.
Yeah.
But this is the heart of everything. Mm-hmm. And so if there are in real estate 2 things to live in, it's your CRM and it might be, you know, the MLS and all that, right? Like the 2 systems with the 2 sets of data that live somewhat exclusively. I know there are systems and CRMs out there that combine those 2 as well, or that integrate listings and searches and whatnot with your database in a lot of ways as well. So by all means, that gives you an extra reason to live in one place. But beyond that, if stuff is outside of your CRM, think about either A, is this something that should be integrated, or B, is this something I really need to be taking time on at all?
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, you're going to have time put aside for your creative process and for creating content and things that you do. But when it comes to week by week, day by day functionality and the stuff you know you need to be looking at, the CRM needs to be at the top of the list, or you're missing the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 2 is just more again about automations. I think a lot of times, and this is a trap I fall into, is I want to make things as personalized as possible for everybody, but that does take up a lot of time. So I think when you're going through how you want to reach out to people on an annual basis, some of that can be automated, whether it's birthday messages or anniversary messages, or if you're sending out a monthly newsletter, that doesn't have to be personalized. It can just, well, you can use tags to personalize it, obviously, in your email program, but it doesn't have to go out on a one-to-one basis. And then identify some areas where you want to get a little bit more personal and actually reach out to them and have conversations or whatever. So I think it has to be a good mix, but don't overlook your CRM options to automate certain tasks that really don't need to be like personalized and one-to-one.
Yep.
And then just going off of that, there are ways to make it look a lot more personal as well. Like I know my CRM's basic happy birthday email card is not that nice, but I can create something that I like better that speaks more to my brand and this sort of thing that I like to put out there, but it's still automatic and sent out to everybody on their birthday.
And you can leverage, and maybe this is number 1 because you haven't mentioned it yet, but is number 1 having to do with tags or no?
It is.
Okay, so maybe I'll just use this as a segue.
It is. Number 1.
But
you needed a drum roll or something.
I figured, I'm like, we've got to talk about tags. This is a CRM. Maybe that is the number 1 thing. So this actually did, for those of you who waited till the end, you got the secret sauce. But tagging all of your contacts, which is in plain English, labeling them with as many focused buckets that you can put them in that will help direct the workflow, automation, contact plan, and otherwise to them. And building from what you were talking about, so just to tie it in, even with something like birthdays, this is just, it's a very specific idea, but if you want it to be automated, but you don't want it to be generic, where everybody's getting the same birthday message, maybe you've got a tag for female birthday, male birthday, or kid birthday, or things like that, where you can get as specific. A tag can be anything, right? Tags could say pets, tags could say older, tags could say, I don't know, like
Condo
buyer,
owner,
sellers,
renter, landlord,
whatever it
investor.
is.
Yeah.
And you're not creating a tag for the sole reason of building a new workflow tied to every tag, but it's a way to help focus anything that you do, right? If you picture your workflows, which they are, as just a tree, right? Or like series of forks in the road, a lot of times people tie that to the way people interact, which is one way to use it. If someone opens, doesn't open, if somebody responds, doesn't respond, if a certain question is asked. When those things happen, there should be tags attached to their actions as well that help build people's profiles in real time as well. So if somebody fills out a form on your website for a free home evaluation, that should enter into your CRM, and it should say, first of all, probably home seller. If you're able to gather data from their evaluation form, maybe they've got a detached home, maybe there's certain things, but it's also they filled out that form, so you know where the source of their entry into your automation was and into your CRM. And then the path is going to look different, potentially from someone who's also selling their house, but you met them at a mixer. People go to mixers. Is that a thing? Mixer.
Maybe.
So random. You met them at a mixer. But then the more specific it gets, it allows you to then really build tunnels that people are going down, which I believe as you grow your business and as you refine and make your CRM more effective, now that you've got people bucketed and databased and tagged so specifically, you can focus on more customized approaches to take with them and build the content that you can now just plug and play to different types of people.
Yeah.
And you can turn on and turn off tied to where they're at, how long they've been in your database. Maybe things change.
Yeah.
When in the year they entered. All those sorts of things will help tie you to being able to build an effective automation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry. So number one.
That was number one. Use your tags. Use those
Play
tags. Segment people. And it's not to say you have to deliver a particular set of content to every one of those people that are in certain tags. Like, it's not like you have to go, okay, now I've got to create a newsletter for condo owners, for homeowners. Like, no, that's not what we're saying. But we're just saying, like, and especially as you kind of maybe niche down as your career progresses, maybe you do have a newsletter that goes out monthly to your condo owners, and because that's where you really want to focus your time. That's great. You're still in contact with people outside of the condo segment. It's just you're not creating as much content for them because that's not your focus. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, to take it to like an extreme, if you've got commercial investors and family residential, the content they get is going to be so different. You're not going to be wanting to send, a market report from a small suburb somewhere to the people who are only into pre-con investing downtown.
Exactly.
Right? So, you get there, and it does come, like you said, niching down is the approach rather than the opposite. But you only are able to do that if you start to focus on who everybody is.
Yeah.
The more you get to know them.
And then your reports can also indicate, okay, I've got a lot of people that are investors. Like, maybe that's an area I want to focus more of my efforts and my time and my marketing. So it's really about, like, if you're starting out, just start using a CRM, playing around with it, like making sure that you're adding as much information about each person as possible. Make that your home base for all of your contacts. And slowly you'll start kind of figuring out where you want to spend your time, how you want to make the most of that CRM. And if you are an existing, like, experienced agent, it's about kind of leveling up the use of your CRM in ways where you can automate, number one, but also make better use of the features that you are paying for, if it makes sense for what you're trying to do.
That's it. You're going to learn as you go. It's, I think having the nothing's impossible mentality towards what these things can do is really helpful. If there's something you'd like it to do, or there's something you feel would be helpful, there's a way to do that, right? Sometimes it might cost money, right? But I think the whole idea of a really good CRM system is your ability to weigh the investment you're making into it, into the efficiency it's creating for you, and the ability it's giving you to focus on building your business, rather than either wasting too much time trying to figure out your database and who to contact and what to say, or just missing out entirely on opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just aren't doing it because it's too hard and time consuming.
Right.
So anyway, all right. We made it.
We made
it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We do have our annual business planning sessions coming up November 14th and 15th. Make sure to sign up. Link is in the show notes from Zoom. We're going to have some resources there, just some I was gonna say resources again. I'm losing track of my words.
I thought you were gonna go with tips and tricks again, but we are giving you the roadmap to make your business what it's supposed to be going forward. Whether you're successful right now, whether you're struggling, whether it's been a tough year, whatever situation you're in, there's always room to self-audit and give yourself a kickstart. And so I know there's a lot of business planning stuff out there, and that's fine. Go to lots. This is really focused on a tangible plan that gets your head right and gives you the actual tools you need to hit next year running, to hit right now running, but really to take where you are, what you want, and to make sure that you're accountable to getting there.
Yeah. So sign up. All right.
Okay.
We will see you guys next week. We hope you have a great week and chat soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Level up.